Hi, good morning everyone. Welcome to Fit 5136 Software Engineering, and today we're gonna talk about we are on week 9 already. We're gonna talk about Agile project management. I believe right now most of the students are working on the assessment tree, which is a group project where you are given a set of the business requirement, you implement something using the agile sprint, that kind of thing. You go through the sprint through the iteration, that kind of thing. But for this lecture, I'm gonna talk about in details. There are different types of the agile and how can we run the agile agile process in a more efficient and effective way. Okay. Yeah. So, I think, I'm not sure if we have mentioned this kind of thing at the beginning, right? But just want to recap again that, there are 12 principles for the Agile Manifesto here, okay, for software development. First of all, we really want to prioritize on the customer satisfaction, okay? Second, we adapt for the changing requirement. Okay, we embrace it. We don't want to like whatever customer want to change the requirement and then we don't accept it. It's not the agile process. Okay, we focus on the frequent delivery. So the key point here is that for each of the sprint, do you actually deliver the working deliverables, right? Okay, that's a frequent delivery. And the next step, you want to communicate regularly as well. Okay, you want to support the team member, right? And you should embrace face-to-face communication between the customer. And let's say for the assessment tree, you will have like a face-to-face sprint ceremony with your tutor or TA, that kind of thing. And then you want to measure the work progress, right? You focus on the development process. You want to focus on the good design. You want to measure the progress and continue seeking the results and try to reflect and adjust regularly. Yeah. So over the past sprint, what did you do? What you have done? What went well? What went wrong? That kind of thing. You try to reflect on what you have done. Okay. And that's just a recap, right? But this is a very nice video that I really want to share to everyone, okay? Which is more details of the 12 principles of the Agile.
Subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon to stay updated with Knowledge Hut.
Hello and welcome to Knowledge Hut. In this video, we will be discussing the 12 Agile principles which are followed in Agile project management. But before watching this video, we recommend you watch our previous videos on the 4 values of the Agile Manifesto, as those 4 values set the base for these 12 principles. Now that you are aware of the values of the Agile Manifesto, let us understand the 12 principles of the Agile project management. First principle. Our highest priority is to satisfy the customer through early and continuous delivery of valuable software. It's true that it takes a lot of time and effort to build a product, but at the end of the day, what makes a customer happy is a valuable working software. This is why the principle emphasizes on early and continuous delivery of the software. Second principle. Welcome changing requirements even late in development. Agile processes harness change for the customer's competitive advantage. Agile believes in empiricism. We become more knowledgeable when we have spent time working on something. In the beginning, we may have a lot of knowledge, but not as much as we have after the commencement of work. Similarly, our customers understand their needs even more clearly after seeing the increment provided by us. This is why this principle welcomes changing requirements from the customers so that the process remains empirical and the customer gets what is required to stay in the competition. Third principle. Deliver working software frequently, from a couple of weeks to a couple of months, with a preference to the shorter timescale. This principle emphasizes on the frequent delivery of product, as frequent delivery helps the development process to be more agile. With frequent delivery, you mitigate the risks in your release, you get faster feedback from the customer, and hence you can bring changes in the product before it's too late. Fourth principle. Business people and developers must work together daily throughout the project. This principle helps in keeping the business aspect and the technical aspect of the product to the same page. When business people and developers work together, they gain a common understanding of the direction towards which the project is moving. The development team also gets an end-user view from the business side. It brings transparency and fluency in the whole development process. Fifth principle: build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support they need, and trust them to get the job done. This principle emphasizes on having motivated team members. When people are motivated to do their work, they produce results which can never be produced by people who are forced to get the job done. Therefore, give them the environment and support they need so that they can create superior products. Sixth principle: the most efficient and effective method of conveying information to and within a development team is face-to-face conversation. Most of the communication in a project is about project process or project content. It is crucial for the success of the project that the development team understands the right information correctly. Written communication is prone to ambiguity, whereas face-to-face conversation provide the ground for prompt clarification and quicker communication. As a result, product development becomes faster and precise. Seventh principle: working software is the primary measure of progress. As we know that working software is most valuable for the customer, the planning of construction of the product has no direct benefits for them until a working software is not given in their hands. Therefore, measuring of project's progress should be based on the actual working software. A software is not finished when it is successfully tested and delivered. It is finished when it is tested and accepted by the end user. Eighth principle: Agile processes promote sustainable development. The sponsors, developers, and users should be able to maintain a constant pace indefinitely. Software development is like running a marathon. You have to maintain the speed, but you shouldn't run so fast that you exhaust yourself. Similarly, sustainable development happens when you do constant production of software features during a long-lasting period. Ninth principle: continuous attention to technical excellence and good design enhances agility. Agile focuses on development of software like a craftsmanship, rather than just working on a regular task. Continuous attention to technical excellence and good design helps in bringing this craftsmanship to the project. 10th principle: simplicity. The art of maximizing the amount of work not done is essential. More features makes a product more complex. Complex codes are difficult to test, maintain, and develop. Sometimes products have features which are so rarely used that their development and maintenance results in a negative ROI. Therefore, it is better to create a product which does a few things extraordinarily and is completely useful for someone rather than creating a software which tries to do everything, does nothing extraordinarily, and is not useful to anyone. 11th principle: the best architectures, requirements, and designs emerge from self-organizing teams. A self-organizing team is one that does not depend on or wait for others to assign work. Instead, these teams find their own work and manage the associated responsibilities and timelines. They take on the responsibility of choosing the most effective and efficient way to complete their work, and regularly look for ways to improve through experimentation. While self-organizing teams don't require a manager to assign work, set deadlines, and so on, they do require a mentor who can help grow their skills. Having self-organizing team promotes collaboration, teamwork, competency, regular growth, motivation, and commitment. And hence, the best architecture, requirements, and designs emerge from such teams. The 12th principle: at regular intervals, the team reflects on how to become more effective, then tunes and adjusts its behavior accordingly. Agile encourages continuous improvements and productivity. When a team reflects on how to become more effective and adjusts its behavior accordingly at regular intervals, it brings continuous improvement in itself and increases its productivity. So these were the 12 principles of Agile. We hope this video helped you in taking your knowledge in Agile further.
That's right. So that's the 12 principles of the Agile Manifesto that I actually highly recommend everyone. You should, adopt this kind of thing for your assessment, for your life, and in the future as well. It is a very, very good principles. It will make yourself more, it's a growth mindset, to be honest. Yeah. Okay, all right. But in terms of the project management, right? There are a few things that we need to think about. Okay, the first thing, this is called the iron triangle of project management. In real world, there are a bunch of the tasks, a bunch of the things that we need to consider. But then, what are the three key triangles that we need to prioritize? These are the things. Okay, so first we need to look at the cost. What is the budget that we have at the moment, okay, and how much time do we have left, right? And then we want to make sure that the scope is properly defined to make sure that we can deliver the products on time, that kind of thing. Okay, so these are the three key factors that we need to consider when we prioritize the tasks in the project, okay, when we manage the project. So in terms of the scope, right, so basically it includes everything, the features, the functions, the deliverables, that kind of thing. So whenever the scope is increased, it will impact the other two constraints, which is the time and the cost. Let's say today we have to, we have to develop like 4 features. Tomorrow we got assigned another feature, so it will impact the time and the cost. Okay, does it make sense? And when we think about the scope of the project, it's not just like how many features that we need to implement, that kind of thing. So there are other elements that we need to consider as well, including the complexities of the tasks, and the quantity of the products, the output quality, the strength levels of detail, that kind of thing. Okay, so it's not just like, yes, we implement only like one feature, but that feature is like extremely big, which involves like 1,000 lines of code, and that means the scope is quite big. It's not just like just one feature, but it's like huge, a big feature, right? And in terms of the time, okay, so time is about the time frame or the schedule. When do you need to deliver the project? When is the deadline? That kind of thing. So you should know this kind of thing in advance. That means you can manage the project really well. If you don't know when should we deliver the project, then you can just keep doing until the end of the year, right? Okay. And elements of the time, so you should think about what is the project timeline, everyone's availability as well. It's about the synchronous of everyone, and how many projects that you need to work in parallel as well. Like, let's say as a student you may enroll in this unit, but you may have another 3 units that you are enrolling, and then so that's the time. What is the time left for this unit? Okay, the cost, right? So it's the budget. It's about the budget allocated for the project. Like in real world, okay, like these are the scope, and these are the scope. We have 5 features. We need to deliver within 12 weeks. And then the next question is that what is the budget do we have so that we can allocate the human resources to work on that project, right? So that's the cost of the project. That's the budget. But most of the time there are 4 factors or 4 reasons why your project will get like a scope creep. Okay, scope creep, what does it mean? Okay, like when you define the project at the beginning initially, and then later on you at the beginning you don't know, okay, what is that, and then later on you find that more features or more tasks are increasing, okay, that kind of thing. So that's called scope creep. Okay, so it's not clear from the beginning, that kind of thing. All right, but there are 4 factors that can lead to the scope creep. Okay, first, you didn't define the project scope clearly, right? Let's say, okay, we have a feature, login, but what kind of login? Do you mean 2-factor authentication? Okay, how strong is the password? Does it need to be like API login, or does it need to sync with the other kind of login credentials or not? Does it need to connect with the Google account? Blah, blah, blah. Okay, we need to get into the detail as much as possible so that the software engineers or the developers can actually implement it correctly. All right. Poor project management practice, right? When someone receives the scope these are the things that we need to do, but they didn't prioritize or have a good interaction with the customer effectively, then this can actually lead to the poor project management practice. All right, okay. Lack of the proper communication between the stakeholders of the projects. This is another factors as well. Like, let's say at the beginning you have a meeting, okay, these are the things, but you don't have a follow-up meeting to confirm whether the details are actually correct and accurate or not, right? So these could lead to some, misunderstanding along the way as well, okay? Inconsistencies in managing changes in the project scope, right? So sometimes for Agile, yes, we embrace the changes, okay, but it doesn't mean that we should change, like totally change the project, okay? So we need to manage the change effectively as well, okay? And sometimes it's about a shared understanding. When we change the requirement, the next question is that does everyone in the team actually understand that change, right? So it's about the communication again, whether the change is consistent among the team members or not. Do they have the same understanding or not? Otherwise, it could lead to scope creep, okay? And by definition, the scope creep is a gradual expansion or uncontrolled changes in the project scope. And it could be like, more features, more requirement, increasing the complexities of the deliverables beyond the initially agreed upon boundaries. So it's about what is the initial sets of the boundaries, and when you don't define it properly, then it could like outgrow like crazy, okay, and it will backfire yourself and the team, okay. And this kind of thing, okay, the scope creep could occur when additional work is introduced without proper evaluation or approval, and it could often lead to like project complexity, timelines, and the cost as well. Yeah, you have more features to do, and then who's gonna do it? That's the next question, right? Okay, and so that means within the team, whoever is the project manager should prevent the scope creep as much as possible, okay? And the way that you want to do is to make sure that the scope is actually clearly defined from the beginning, okay, before the project start, right? Okay, now let's do some poll everywhere, okay? Does everyone miss this one? Okay, yeah, poll everywhere, yep. Okay, yep, that's about the Agile Manifesto. Okay, I have lots of content to cover today, so try to make it quick, Can everyone do the poll? I think the next question, does anyone want to do the poll activities? Yes or no? Yep, okay, all right. Okay. I want to aim for 10 participants, okay. 10 respond, yeah. Okay, we have got 5 so far. 8. Yeah, so according to the Agile Manifesto, what should be the primary measures of the progress? Okay, what is that? Yeah. Okay, 10. We need 10 response. I mean, if you want to attend the lecture and just listen, it is okay. But what you will miss is that you will not really know like whether you have the right understanding or not. Okay, yeah. So yeah, let's see the response. Thank you so much, everyone. Yeah. So I think the answer should be the working software. All right. It's not about the plan. Okay. So because sometimes you focus on the plan, you know, but it's about the quality of the plan as well. What is the plan? The plan could be just, you know, yes, we finished the documentation, right? And does it really deliver or make the progress of any product? No, not really. Okay. And the comprehensive documentation, it is actually part of the waterfall. It's not part of the Agile at all. Okay. Yeah. So the right measure should be the working software. All right. Next one. Okay. So which principle? All right. Yeah. Which principles of the Agile Manifesto emphasize the importance of the self-organizing team? Yeah. First, business people and developers must work together daily. Again, it's about self-organizing teams. Okay, self-organizing. Deliver for working software frequently with a preference to the shorter time scale. Welcome changing requirements even late in development. Build projects around motivated individuals. Give them the environment and support they need. Okay. So, what is the right answer? I highly recommend we need to be quick. Yeah. So try to complete within the a few minutes. Yeah. All right, so the answer, okay, so the answer, yeah, should be D dog, okay. Yep, that's correct, okay. Majority of the students got it correct. So self-organizing is more about self-motivation. Like you want to build the projects around motivated individuals, right? Like, yes, I am a software engineer. I feel comfortable with this task, this feature, I'm gonna do it, okay. You feel motivated, and we just provide the environment and the support and trust them to get the job done, all right. So that's the what is that? Yeah, self-organizing one. Okay, self-organizing team. So next question: in the Agile Manifesto, what is value more than the contract negotiation? What is that? Anyone remember? What is more important than the contract negotiation? Oh, sorry. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So let's see the answer. All right. So I think the right answer should be customer collaboration. Okay. Yep. Okay. So we got two separate answers here. Okay. Responding to change. Okay. Rather than contract negotiation or customer collaboration. I think let's take a look at the answer. Okay. Next one. Let me see. Contract negotiation. Yeah. What is that? Contract negotiation. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Yeah, what is that? Which one?
Agile requirements from the customer.
Changing. Okay. This
Requirements
is
from the
about
customers
requirement change.
so that the process remains empirical
Okay.
and the customer gets what is required to stay in the competition. Need and trust them to get the job done. And quicker communication.
I think this one, the right answer should be, to be honest, should be customer collaboration. Okay, so it's not about the responding to change. Okay, yeah, yep. Okay, next. Yep. All right, here we go. So what are the 3 constraints in project management commonly represented as a triangle? Okay, does anyone remember? What is that? Okay, we got 6 response so far. 8. Yep, 9. Okay, so I think I hope everyone will get this one 100% correct. Okay, so the right answer should be B-boy. Okay, time, cost, and the scope. Okay, it's not the budget, resources, and the communication as presented in here. Okay, time, cost, and the scope. That's the triangle. All right. Okay, next. Yep. Next. What is the next question? Yeah, oh, this one is about the scope creep. Okay, so in project management, what does the term scope creep refer to? What is that? Yeah. Just want to double check your understanding. All right. Yep, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, so scope creep, what is that? It is I think it should be B-boy, a sudden increase in project cost. No, not really. No, it's not about the inflation. Okay, so it should be unauthorized changes or addition to the project scope. Yeah, so I think C is the right. Yeah, that's right. Okay, good. Well done, everyone. Okay. Yeah, it's not about the inflation, it's not about the timeline, but scope creep is mainly about the scope. Like there are some changes that are not like approved, but later on it is added, okay, to the project. Right? Okay, yep. Who are the 3 roles? Okay, now move. Let's go back to this one. So we talk about the scope creep. Okay, now I'm gonna talk more about, scope creep is actually bad for everyone, to be honest, right? First, it will negatively impact your team, the end users, your company, the project manager, and the project stakeholder as well. No one really need it. Okay, so the way to prevent the scope creep is to make sure that you prioritize, these are the costs, right? These are the causes of the scope creep. So you want to make sure that the project is clearly defined. You apply the effective project management practices. You have effective communication with the stakeholder, and you manage the change, okay, effectively as well. So this kind of thing, it will prevent the scope creep as much as possible, mitigate the risk. Okay, yeah. So next one, I want to talk about the Scrum. Okay, so basically, in Agile, there are 2 frameworks that you can implement. Okay, so first is the Scrum, the second one is a Kanban, and they are totally different. All right. So what is a Scrum? I'm going to talk about that. Okay, so basically this is a Scrum framework. Initially you start from, as a business analyst, you talk to the stakeholder. Okay, these are the features. Okay, what kind of features do you want? Blah, blah, blah. And then you come up with, collect the requirement. This is what you did, right? And then you extract the requirement, translate into the product backlog. Okay, as an end user, I want to log in, blah, 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 blah. And then this is not a one go, okay? It's not a one-off activity. You can do some like iterative refinement, okay? For every sprint, that kind of thing, So once you start at the beginning of the sprint, okay? This is the way you start the sprint. at the beginning of the sprint, you have the sprint backlog, right? No, sorry. You have the product backlog. First, you have a meeting, okay? This is called sprint planning. When you do the sprint planning, you define what is the goal of this sprint. And then you move the task from the sprint backlog from the product backlog to the sprint backlog, okay? Okay? And then once you have the task that you need to do for this sprint, and then you start working on it. For each of the sprint, it lasts for 2 to 4 weeks, okay? And then this is like every day. You can have like a daily scrum meeting, okay? Where you meet with the team members, that kind of thing, to discuss, okay? This is the sprint goal. These are the things that we need to do. And what have you done, okay? Are there any blockers, that kind of thing? For each of the done, does it have any definitions of done? To make sure that whatever you actually deliver or complete is aligned with the definitions of done. Do you remember? Okay. So for every day, you finish the daily scrum, finish the task, whatsoever. And at the end, you can conduct a sprint review. Okay. Sprint review, you want to check if everything is ready or not to deliver to the customer. Okay. Once you deliver to the customer and then all done, okay, and then everyone conduct a sprint retro to discuss what went well in the past, what can be improved in the future, okay? So this is a meeting with the product owner, developers, and the scrum master. Once you know what are the things that you want to improve in the future, then you send the improvement, to the next sprint, and you try to improve the team project, okay? So this is basically the high level overview of the Scrum framework, okay? And in real world, this is like whatever in real world, okay? In real world, in complex work, more is unknown than known, okay? In real world, when you want to implement the feature, sometimes you don't know what are the things that you need to consider. Like, yes, we want to implement the login function, but how or what kind of login function that we need, right? Does it need to link with the Google authentication? Does it need to link with the Okta? Does it need to link with the Facebook? That kind of thing, okay? And the unknown is discovered by releasing done increments early and often. So when you start doing something, then you are more to know the unknown, okay? Yeah, during the increments, okay? So that's the way how you try to discover the unknown as soon as possible, as early as possible. And with this increment, we want to validate our assumptions, right? Oh yeah, like during the daily sprint, that kind of thing, you can have the interaction with the customer as well, by the end, you can have an interaction with the stakeholder again, and then discuss like, is this the way that you want or not? Oh, and then maybe the stakeholder just said, yeah, we don't need the Google authentication, just only the Okta authentication. That's it, right? That's how you define or refine the scope of the requirement, that kind of thing, okay? So we learn what is needed and avoid the risk of spending time and money on the wrong things, right? So sometimes you have the assumption, oh, maybe we need to do this, but once you deliver to the customer say, yeah, we don't need that, then you can, stop implementing that kind of things as early as possible, right? So you are not wasting time on something that is not necessary at all right? Last thing, as a result, we can deliver more values to the stakeholders sooner. So that's really the key point of the Agile Manifesto, okay? So we prioritize customer interaction, okay? Yeah. And the values of the Scrum framework is that we focus on the commitment, focus, respect, courageous, and openness, okay? And yep, that kind of thing. That's the Scrum. But who is part of the Scrum, okay? I'm gonna talk more, like in more details, okay? So basically, Scrum is an iterative incremental framework for projects and product development. You can check more details on this website, scrumprimer.org, okay? And as I told you, this is an iterative incremental framework because we work as an iteration. and we incrementally deliver the working software to the customer, okay, for each of the sprint. All right, okay, and that's why we call Scrum, okay, and that's by the definition. And this is not about the programming method. This is not even specific to the IT, okay, and it's the way of to organize groups of people to deliver something. That's a key point, how you manage the project. All right. And I think this is the details, the step, as I told you before. Okay. First of all, in Scrum, okay, I would say that there are 3 roles in Scrum. The first is the Scrum Master. Okay. The second one is the product owner. Another role is the developers. All right. Scrum Master, basically they just facilitate the Scrum process, okay? Some companies, when they know or they are very experienced about the Agile, they don't need the Scrum Master. But for a new organizations like a startup company who are not familiar with the Agile Scrum framework, then you might want to have like a Scrum Master role to actually, facilitate the project management process, that kind of thing. Product owner is a person that actually interact mainly with the stakeholders and translate whatever the set of the requirements into the product backlog. All right. These are the things that the software engineers need to do. Okay. So that's the role of the product owner. And then the developers or the software engineers actually just take the task, whatever is written by the product owner, to implement it. Okay. That's the key roles or activities of the Scrum framework. Okay, yeah, back to this one again. Product owner talks to everybody involved in the project, figure out what they want, puts their requirement into the product backlog. This is not the once off. Okay, it is iterative, incremental process. Okay. For each iteration, the team collectively decide how much of the product backlog they will implement. So that's this part. Okay. For each of the sprint, the team will discuss what is the goal, what are we going to do for this sprint, okay? Yep. Right. And yeah, so then whatever the task, okay, it goes into the sprint backlog, right? And then the team start implementing everything. You conduct the daily stand-up meeting, okay? And after the end of the sprint, you conduct the review. And by the most of the time, it is done by the product owner. So product owners who has more better relationship or more familiar with the customer, the stakeholders, right? So they're gonna review. Okay, is this the right thing? Is this the thing that the customer really want, right? Okay, if everything looks right, then they're gonna present it to the stakeholder, to the customer. Okay, and then once by the end of the sprint, they can conduct the retrospective meeting. Can we the key question that we want to answer is that can we make our process more efficient? That's the retrospective, reflective thinking. All right, how can we improve things? Okay, so in general, these are the stakeholders for the Scrum framework. Okay, first there's a Scrum Master, product owner, team members could be the software engineers, right? So roughly, normally like 7 plus or minus 2 people. These are the typical Scrum team, okay? And we also need the client or the customer as a stakeholder as well, okay? And that's it. That's a stakeholder. As I told you, Scrum Master, mainly they are not the project manager. Mainly they are the person who facilitates the Scrum process, okay? Who has more, who is very knowledgeable about the Scrum framework, that kind of thing. Sometimes they have the certificate, that kind of thing, okay? And their roles is to stop the things from interfering with the project, right? Sometimes there's a argument among the team members. Sometimes they cannot make any decision. Sometimes there are lack of resources, that kind of thing. Or some, interruption from the outside. Scrum Master are the person who actually step in to facilitate or address this kind of problem, okay? And you have to act as a servant leader, okay? What is a servant leader? Servant leadership is more like you try to provide the service to the team, okay? You are not demanding. You are not the commander. You should not say like, okay, do this, do that, okay? But it's more like, okay, how can we help you today? That's more like mentorship, okay? That's a servant leadership. You try to support the decisions of the team, the product owner, rather than issuing comments, okay? It's not like, yeah, okay, you have to do that way, that kind of thing. No, not like that, okay? That's not the servant leadership, and it's not nice as well, yeah? And you really want to help teams to understand the Agile and the Scrum principles, okay? And how do they impact the team activities, okay? And when you, and these kind of people, the Scrum Master will organize the sprint activities, sprint ceremony, right? Like, what is that? There are 4 sprint ceremony. Do you remember? Sprint planning, daily Scrum, or daily meeting, okay? Sprint review and the sprint retro, okay? So these are the 4 sprint meeting as part of the Scrum framework, or people call Agile ceremony, all right? So that's the key role of the Scrum Master, all right? And when we say facilitate, make sure the team and the product owner understand each other, yeah? So as a Scrum Master, right? Product owner knows everything about the requirement, but we don't know whether the team or the software engineers actually have the same understanding or not. So it comes to the Scrum Master role where they try to check the understanding for everyone, okay? And they try to help the product owner to manage the product backlog as well. Because we want to make sure that we want to maximize the values to the customer, all right? So they try to help the prioritization within the sprint, okay? And facilitate, what does it mean? Facilitate means that you try to make things easy, okay? You are not the problem makers. Scrum Master are not the problem makers. Problems are a lot already in real world, okay? Scrum Master should make the collaboration easy, yeah, okay? And Scrum Master need to be facilitate the interaction, okay? What is the meeting? During the meeting, that kind of thing. And you want to make sure that everybody's voice is heard, okay? Stimulate the discussion, that kind of thing, all right? That's a facilitation, yeah? And next, right? So that's the role of the Scrum Master. The next role is the product owner. Their role, their responsibility is to decide what is the content of the product backlog. What is the priority in the sprint backlog, that kind of thing, okay? And the main goal of the product owner, they have to decide whatever goes into the product backlog, okay, should maximize the value to the customer as much as possible. So they're gonna think about the return of investment, okay? Within the first sprint, should we really deliver the lock-in feature? Does it really maximize the value of the final product or not, right? What are the key things, okay, that we need to deliver to the customer to make sure that they are happy, okay? The product owner could be customer as well, okay? And they will tell the team what to build for each iteration, okay? And the product owner normally it is one person, okay? So otherwise, if you have 3 product owners and they have arguments, okay, product owner 1, they want this, product owner 2, they want that, and then this kind of argument, contradictory, is really bad for the team. We don't want that, okay? And where they get information from is beyond the scope of the Scrum, okay? Team gives them technical info, but as far as the product knowledge is concerned, the process model doesn't care. They are responsible for maintaining the product backlog. That's the product owner. They need to know, okay? They need to know what has to be implemented, okay? What has to be implemented, what should be implemented now as a first priority, that kind of thing. That's the main goal of the product owners. And the team members, they have to be self-organizing roles, okay? Do you remember self-managing? It's about motivated individuals, okay? They pick up the task, they want to implement this, and then all done, okay? And this is more like day-to-day tasks are not assigned by the external manager. You should not wait like someone to assign, okay? This person do this person do that, okay? Agile teams should be cross-functional. So it should not just be like a coders. You should know how to test your own code as well. You should have some knowledge about the UX, UI design, you should help team if the team members have more than one skill, right? Okay, so ideally there's no formal structure. When you have 4 software engineers, it doesn't mean that yes, I do this, I do that, I do that, I do that, and there are lots of dependency there. Okay, so it's not an ideal team structure. Everyone should contribute to the team. Okay, ideally. Okay, everyone should know how to implement that feature. And then the next question is that, does everyone actually contribute equally to that feature? Okay. And in real world, in business, a silo, okay, is a system or group that has sole access to a particular skill set or kind of data, right? For example, only QA team knows about the QA and they have no clues about the other things. This is really silos. It's not cross-functional, okay? And only potential source of problems in Agile team. This is the only the source of problems in the Agile teams, because when you ask the database team, okay, can you create the database, do the queries? Yes, I do this. The rest, they have no idea how to create the write the Python code with the SQL command. This kind of people maybe just know only the SQL command. Does it make sense? Okay. What happens if the sprint requires more database work than one person can do, right? So yeah, this guy will got the problem. And Agile teams normally need to guard against the siloing, okay? So normally it is okay to have a specialist on the team, but it's about, if I remind you about the code review, it's about the share team, it's about knowledge sharing, you know? You have to be open to share the knowledge with the team members, okay? And also to learn the new skill and the knowledge as well yourself, right? And sometimes you should prepare some time for training into the sprint plan as well. Yeah. All right, that's a quick recap of the Scrum. All right. Now let's do some poll activities. Okay. Who are the 3 roles defined in the Scrum? Here we go. Who are they? Did I activate? Yep. And present. Yep. Go for it. Alright, so now let's review the answers, okay? This is really easy. The right answer should be the Scrum Master, Product Owner, and the development team, okay? Let's see the response. Alright, 89%. Well done, everyone, okay? These are the roles in the Scrum, okay? That's correct. Very well done. Alright, next, what is that? What is the primary responsibility of the product's owner in Scrum? Okay, what is that? What is the primary responsibility? Product owner. Okay, product owner. This one is also easy as well. Yeah. All right. Try to make it quick. Yep. Let's see the response. Okay. So I think the right response should be to maximize the value of the product and the work of the development team. Let's see if everyone got it correctly. Beautiful. Nearly there. 88%. Okay. Well done. Okay. What is the purpose of the Scrum? Oh no, sorry. What is the purpose of the sprint in Scrum? What is that? What is that purpose? Okay. Yeah. go for it. Why do we need a sprint? Nope, sorry. Yep, why do we need a sprint? Okay. Yep, so we got 9 response. Okay, I'm gonna log and see the response, see the result. The right answer should be D dog, okay? Because that's the main purpose of the sprint. You want to create a potentially shippable product increment. Again, Agile, you want to deliver the working software for each of the sprint. You don't want to deliver the broken software. And to do that, that's why you create a sprint. You want to make sure that for each of the sprint, you have a budget up to 2 weeks. What you can do to deliver the something that is shippable or deliverable, okay? One, as part of the sprint, yes, you can review the progress. That's a Agile ceremony, okay? Sprint review, whatsoever. But the real goal of the sprint is not to review the progress, but to ship something to the customer, okay? All right, thank you. Next one, okay? What is the duration of a typical sprint in Scrum? Okay, what is that? Typical duration, yeah, easy, yeah. All right, okay, so the answer, all right, everyone, the answer should be 2 weeks, okay? Let's see if everyone got it 100%. Beautiful, okay? 1 month is too long, yeah? So you want to, again, frequent, right? So you want to deliver the working software as frequent as possible, all right? All right, next, who is responsible for removing obstacles or impediments that affect the development team's progress? Yep. What is that role, Who is responsible, yeah? Who? Thank you, everyone, okay? You make it quick, yeah? Yep. 7 response. Yeah. 8, 9, yeah. Okay. So, all right, let's see the response. Scrum Master, okay. Do we get it? Okay. A few students, okay. Yeah, got it wrong, but no worries. So, the main goal of the Scrum Master, as I told you, that's about the servant leadership. It's about facilitator. You want to make the collaboration easy, so that's the role of the Scrum Master. Product owner only look for the product backlog, okay? It's about the requirement. They manage the product, they manage the whatever's the customer expectation, that kind of thing, okay? Yep, next, all right, beautiful. What is the purpose of the sprint review in Scrum? All right. Why do we need to do the sprint review in Scrum? Sprint review. Yeah. Okay, so the main purpose of the sprint review in Scrum is to, what is that? Let's log the result, okay? to inspect the work completed during the sprint with the stakeholder. Okay, so let's see if it is A or not. All right, beautiful. Okay, very good. Review the product backlog. That's the sprint planning. You review the backlog. You assign the tasks, the work items from the backlog into the sprint backlog, right? So that's how you review that one, but not about the it's not the sprint review. Okay, discuss the progress of the project with the stakeholder. I mean, normally at the end of the sprint, not during the review. Yeah. Okay. Next. All right. Yep. Inspection. Yeah. No, sorry, instruction. What does the development team do during the sprint retro? Yep, what is that? What do they do during the sprint retro? First, review the product with stakeholder, review the sprint progress and discuss ways to improve, plan the next sprint, review the product backlog and prioritize items. Okay, let's log the results and the response and see the results. Okay, so the right answer should be review the sprint progress and discuss ways to improve. Okay, yep, beautiful. Well done, everyone. Next. Okay, what is the meaning of the Kanban? All right, okay, now go back to this one. And as I told you, Agile has two frameworks that you can implement. The first one is a Scrum. We use that in our unit, okay? And another one is a Kanban, okay? What is a Kanban? All right. So Kanban basically it is originated in 1950 in Japan, all right, and it is normally used in it is initially used in the Toyota production system. So Toyota production is about the production line, manufacturing line, okay, and they try to remove the waste as much as possible. So that's why they come up with the term lean manufacturing, okay, or just-in-time production. And Kanban, basically it is a pool system, okay? I'm gonna explain a little bit more what does it mean by pool. And members normally, okay, there's a board. You have a list of the tasks and you pull the tasks, like move the progress of the task, okay, from one column to another column, that kind of thing, okay? But I think before I go to detail, let's watch this video a little bit. This is a video clip from Atlassian. They explain what is a Kanban. Basically, this is more like to support the Agile coach, Yeah, okay.
Kanban is a work management system designed to help you visualize your work, limit work in progress, and maximize efficiency, which we call flow. Kanban is the Japanese word for visual signal. With so many of us working in services and technology, oftentimes our work is invisible or intangible. Kanban helps you visualize your work so you can understand it better, show it to others, and keep everyone on the same page. Most teams realize this benefit by building a Kanban board, filling it with Kanban cards, and setting up a work in progress limit. I'm Max. I'm a product marketing manager on Jira Software, and I'm naturally kind of a chaotic person. I seem to always find myself in fast-paced environments. I've been on really dysfunctional teams, and in the past been in dysfunctional organizations. The number of times that I've seen Kanban kind of bring method to the madness, to change the culture of the organization, and just help me get work done, has me basically shouting from the rooftops about Kanban. So I actually have a lot to say, and I've broken this conversation up into a series of videos all here on our YouTube channel. So the first thing that I would ask is that you subscribe to the channel so you can hear this whole conversation play out. I want to show you something. One of my favorite things about Kanban is that Kanban starts with what you do now. This is actually one of the Kanban principles. Another being that Kanban respects current roles and responsibilities exactly the way that they are today. You simply apply the Kanban methodology to how you currently work. Another Kanban principle is that Kanban encourages acts of leadership from all levels. It's on the team to work together to make Kanban work for you. Now, if those principles are something you can get excited about, then you might want to start by making a Kanban board. So this is what I wanted to show you. It's a Kanban board that I built to visualize all the concepts we're covering in this video series. I just finished talking about the Kanban principles. And it's important that I started on the right side of the board here. Kanban is a pull system, which means when you have bandwidth, you look to the left and pull cards from left to right. Since I have bandwidth now, I'm ready to start my discussion of Kanban boards. Kanban boards like this one can be built on walls, windows, whiteboards, or with a suite of digital tools like Trello and Jira. Their purpose is to categorize all the stages of work that a work item flows through from something you haven't started to something that's done. This is called a workflow. You'll notice that each stage in the workflow has its own column, and our workflow is super simple. Your workflow might be more complex, but I'd encourage you to start as simple as possible. You can always add more columns later. So for now, I'm done with this quick explanation of Kanban boards. I'm going to take this card from something I'm doing into something that's done. Since I have bandwidth again, I'm ready to move a card from today into doing. Let's kick off our discussion of Kanban cards. For the Agile software developers among us, cards should be a familiar concept. You can think of them as one Kanban card per user story. For the rest of us, we can just back up. You can think of Kanban cards as being work items. One card per work item. You want to make cards for all the things you're working on and place them in the appropriate stage of the workflow. Kanban cards should have a title and a description and an owner. You can also add any other helpful information like a due date. Then your card should start to gain a little bit of a history as your team leaves updates on the card as it moves from one stage of the workflow to the other. Kanban cards should be small enough that your team can make progress on them in a reasonable amount of time. You don't want them so large that it'll take you weeks to move the card forward, and you don't want them so small that it's literally every task that you're working on. Can you imagine how chaotic your board would be if it was every task your team was working on? You want to avoid that. Once you build a board and you fill it with cards, you'll start to realize one of the key benefits of Kanban. You'll see columns that start to bunch up, revealing a bottleneck in your workflow. You'll also get a sense of what size cards your team can move forward in a timely manner. These efficiencies we like to call flow, and Kanban is built to help teams flow work better from the backlog to done. Once you understand flow, you can start to measure it. Kanban teams concern themselves with lead time, which is the time that it takes for a card to flow through your workflow from when you start working on it to when you're done. It's in the hands of the customer. And with that, I feel done with my conversations about lead time. And thanks to this board that I built, I actually know that I'm done. I have visual assurance that I've done all the things that I set out to do in this video. It's a good feeling.
All right. Yeah, so that's the Kanban, okay? It is totally different from the Scrum. Scrum focus on iterative, incremental, deliver the working software products. But Kanban is more like you try to visualize the status of the task that you are doing. Focus on the flow of the task, you know? These are the things that we need to do. But yeah, has it been done or not, or they are doing that kind of thing, you know? So it's about the status of the task, and you pull it from the backlog, the to do, to doing, to done, that kind of thing, okay? And that's a Kanban board. This is an example. You have a backlog. You have the status of the to-do list, okay? What are the things that you need to do today? And what are you doing at the moment, okay? and sometimes it depends on whether you have testing or not, okay, or you can move to done, okay. So this kind of task, the Kanban board is used in the software development as well, in the sense that it's more like think about the bug fixing or just small new features every day. You know, when the system is already mature, okay, we can use the Kanban. For example, okay, today we got a new bug fix report, and then we need to fix something. So that's the plan for today. As a person, as a software engineer, I move from the plan to the in progress. Okay, we are working on it, we are developing it, okay, and someone has to test it and move to the complete, that kind of thing, okay. That's the Kanban in the software development. This is an example of the Kanban board that is used in the Mozilla project as well. GitHub also provide the features of the the Kanban board as well. So okay, so you can move from the backlog. These are the bugs that we need to fix. Okay, next up, this is what we need to do. This is something that is in progress. Once I fix everything, create a pull request whatsoever, then we move to that. Okay, so yeah, that's a Kanban. All right, that's all. Kanban is also used in the, as I told you, the manufacturing, in the sense that, let's say, Toyota production system, let's say you want to build a car, okay? Okay, today we got an order of the 1,000 cars, okay? These are the things that we need to do. We got a request in the backlog, okay? 1,000 cars, we need to build Toyota something, okay? Corolla. And then we are working on it, okay? That's a to-do. Move to the to-do, and then we know what is the lead time, okay? It takes like, 1 month to build, okay? And then we are working on it, or it has been done and delivered to the customer. That's why we try to remove the waste. We know what is the pipeline, and at the same time, the work limit as well. Work limit item, WIP, okay? That means these are the backlog, right? 1,000 car, one request from a company, let's say from one country, and we got another 10,000 cars from another country, let's say, and we know how many cars that we can build in the pipeline, in the production stream, that kind of thing, okay? So first, Kanban board, okay, repeat again, Kanban board is a way to visualize the status or the flow of the tasks. These are the things that we need to do. Has it been in the to-do list or doing, or it has been done, that kind of thing, okay? And you can limit the work in progress as well. All right. Yep. So back to the activities again, okay? I don't know where are we. Should be 12 now. Nope. Next one. Kanban. Yep, that's right. Okay. Activate. Instruction. Click present. Yep. So what is the meaning of the Kanban? All right. Over to everyone. Okay, so what is the meaning of the Kanban? Not what is the Kanban, okay? What is the meaning of the Kanban, okay? So basically, it is a Japanese term meaning the visual signal or card, okay? That's the meaning of the Kanban, but it's not what is Kanban, okay? All right. Yep. Next, what is the primary objectives of the Kanban? Yep. What is that? Okay. I'm gonna get some water and I will be back. Okay, we got 9 response. What is the primary objectives of the Kanban? Okay, first, to maintain a sustainable workflow, minimize waste, and optimize the resource allocation. Okay, yeah. So I think let me put this way: the primary objective is to maintain a sustainable workflow. Yes, it is correct because it sets the limits of the work in progress item. Right? These are the things that we need to do. We can limit it. Okay. Yeah, and then it will create a sustainable workflow. That's right. Beautiful. I just told. In Kanban, what does the term WIP stand for? All right. What is that? Yep. Okay, let's see the response. It should be work in progress. All right. Beautiful. Okay. Thank you. Nice. Next, what is the significance of visualizing work in Kanban? Why do we need to, visualize the work items in the Kanban? Why? What is the benefit? Yeah. All right. So the answer, okay, I'm gonna lock it. The answer should be all of the above. Well done. Okay, so it helps team identify the bottlenecks. We know it enhances the communications among the team members. It provides the transparency into the workflow because we use the Kanban board. It's quite transparent. Everyone can access it. All right. Next, which of the following is not a core principle of Kanban? Yeah. What is that? What is not the core principle? Yep. So let's see the answer. Okay. Not, I think it should be the deadline. Okay. There's nothing about the strict deadline. Yep, that's right. Thank you. Beautiful. Which of the following is not? Okay, not yet. Yep. Okay. Okay. Next, I'm gonna talk about the Agile ceremony. Yep. So as I told you that there are 4 Agile ceremonies. Actually, I have the figure on this slide. Yep. Yeah. So Agile ceremony means the meeting as part of the Agile process. Okay. And within the Scrum framework, as I told you before, there are 4 meetings. Okay. The first one is a sprint planning, daily Scrum, sprint review, and the sprint retool. These are the 4 key sprint events. Okay, events as part of the Agile methodology, or in particular the Scrum. Okay, Sprint planning, again, you want to craft a sprint goal and a plan to achieve it. You want to make sure that it is achievable. Okay. For example, yes, we want to implement the register feature, the login, and during the daily scrum, okay, you check the team progress, whether whatever someone, software engineers implemented, is it aligned with the goal. Then you conduct the sprint review, okay, to review the work completed in the sprint with the stakeholder, okay. And the sprint retro, then you review the product development process, okay. So sprint retro, you really want to focus on the process. What went well in the past, how can we improve it in the future, okay. That's all about the sprint, about the Agile ceremonies, okay. Is it clear to everyone? Now, I want to move on to the as part of the sprint planning. You see, the first step, okay? I know in real world, the backlog is like really long. We have like millions of features that we need to, implement it. We cannot do it, everything. But we focus on the values, okay, of the product to the customer. Then how can we prioritize it, right? So we're gonna use the Moscow framework, okay, as part of the, as a framework for task prioritization. And basically it stands for must have, okay, M must have, should have, okay, S, C could have, and W won't have, all right? That's a Moscow. Must have, anything that is must have, like critically needed. We cannot, it is non-negotiable. It is the minimum viable product. It is unable to deliver the end product without this at all, okay? Not legal with it, okay? Unsafe without it, like something like really, really a must, okay? And something that is less than must have, then that's a should have, right? So something it is important, but is it really vital, okay? But not vital, yeah. Maybe painful to leave out, but the solution is still viable, right? May need some kind of workaround, okay? That's a should have. And less important one could be the could have, right? Could have, yes, it is desirable, yeah, but not as important as should have, right? Only do if there is an extra time and the budget. Let's say the login, yeah, you can implement like a login with Google authentication. Yes, we could have it, but do we really need it? Is it a must? We don't know, okay? So that's something you need to discuss with the customer, right? Won't have this time around at all, out of the budget. No, like this one is just like say no, okay? Nice to have, but it doesn't have any real impact at all, okay? For example, a login with, what is that? Like, something, we don't need it, yeah, okay, anyway. So sprint review is a meeting where the current status of the product is established, right? It takes place at the end of the sprint, okay? Typically lasts for an hour per week of sprint length, okay? The product owner, scrum master, and the team should attend. They discuss among the teams and review the products, whether it meets the definitions of the done, and they look and implement the product successfully and completely or not, okay? During the sprint review, the team shows the sprint outcome to the product owner and the stakeholder, okay? That's more like, sprint 4, your sprint 4, that's a sprint review, okay? Implementation of each story can be approved, partially approved, rejected. In the last 2 cases, story goes back to the product backlog, okay? And it is a good opportunity for client representatives to collaborate with the team as well. You should let them know what they think about the system as it evolves, okay? And product owner might be able to learn something about what other client representatives think of the system as well. So it's about customer interaction, that's happen during the sprint review. And the way you conduct the sprint review is that as a product owner should start by explaining what has been done and what has not been done in the sprint. So you should note that the capital D done, it means that it should align with the definitions of done. If it has not been tested to your satisfaction, it's not done, okay? The team talks about how well the sprint went, okay? Did anything go wrong? If so, how did the team solve the problem? So that happened during the sprint review. Okay, so the team and the PO, the product owner, demonstrate the completed user stories. Okay, what is the user story? Has it been completed? You should answer any questions from the other stakeholders. PO and the team talk about the current status of the product backlog. All right. When is the project likely to be completed given the current velocity? This is a good opportunity for the PO and the team to do some release planning, right? Like, how should we release this kind of version, that kind of thing? Are there any other technical difficulties or not? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So excellent, we need excellent preparation for the sprint planning because you want to demonstrate that user story is actually completed, right? Okay, what are the things that you should not do during the sprint review? Okay, first, some teams treated the sprint review as an acceptance meeting, okay, which is like a formal occasion where the client representative or the PO sign off on the completions of the milestone. And this is actually not the best practice. When you do the sprint review, you just among the software engineers and the PO and the Scrum Master meet with the stakeholder, come together and present. You just review, okay? But whether they agree with whatsoever or not, right? It could be like, there are some feedback, okay? Fix something. So the acceptance meeting should be a separate one, all right? Okay? So the week 11, what we have today is more, not today. What we have in our unit is more like sprint review, okay? We try to review the sprint. For the sprint 1, what you have done. Sprint 2, what you have done. Sprint 4, what you have done. So sprint 3, okay. Sprint 3, what you have done. And sprint 4, you present it to the stakeholder, okay. Because normally the acceptance testing, right, it is quite a formal meeting. It is long, it is tedious, right. So the sprint review should happen every sprint. As I told you, sprint 1, 2, 3, okay. And the sign off should be the last one. That's the week 12. You submit to the Moodle. Okay, you sign off, submit to the deliver to the customer and the stakeholder. Okay, if you really need a sign off meeting, you should schedule a longer time box with only PO, Scrum Master, and the client representatives. So that means sometimes you don't need the software engineers to be there because that's a sign off meeting. The PO should take responsibility, okay, of what the product is and how does it work, that kind of thing. All right, that's a red tape, okay, not to do. Second one, broken demo. This is what will happen during the week 12 demo, okay. So ideally, you should show a versions of the product that has already been done stories. The users have been implemented completely, correctly, and effectively as well, okay? So that means you should not demonstrate any bug or the broken demo during the week 12 presentation at all. They might assume that backend functionality is also complete. Yes, the functionality of the software, the product, whatsoever should be completed. This can raise unreasonable expectations for future pace of the software development as well. If you cannot deliver or complete it, right? Yep. Yeah. If somebody tries to demo partially done code, it might crash or otherwise embarrass the team. Okay. So what if your stakeholders hate your product, right? It is also possible like, hey, what is that? What do you implement here? Okay. So sometimes, it could happen in real world. We are human. And they can provide like negative feedback. No, that's not good, blah, 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 that kind of thing, okay? But you should not take it personally, okay? You should think about, okay, there might be some miscommunication between the stakeholders and the software engineers, right? Or the PO, okay? You should take it as a good thing, not a bad thing. That means they already provide the feedback that, okay, this is what they want, right? Okay, sometimes they don't know what they want. In real world, tell me. Let me tell you something. In real world, if you talk to the CEO, okay, think about an online shopping system. I want an online shopping system that can increase the revenue by 20%. Tell me, what is that feature? I don't know, right? CEO doesn't know anything. But what they care is just about an increase in revenue of 20%, okay? And as a PO, they should have like a domain knowledge. Think about, talk to the commercial team, whatsoever, marketing team to come up with the discount campaign whatsoever, and then we implement in the system, okay, in the online shopping system. Think about, yeah, online shopping like Temu, Amazon, eBay, whatsoever. Okay, once you know about the problem, then you can start to fix it. If the problem can be fixed, the project is write off. It's best to find out, okay, before a lot of resources have been wasted. So fail fast. That's a very good principle for the startup community. You should fail early as much as possible, okay? You should not like spend a month or a year, not a month, sorry. You should not spend a year to implement some product that actually no one uses. You should create a prototype within the first month, test or do some trials with the, some seed participant whatsoever, and see whether they actually like it or not. Okay, the last ceremony, retrospective, okay? It is actually the last event of the sprint, okay? The team gathers to decide what to improve and what went well in the sprint, how can we improve things. It's about the mindset, to be honest, okay? You want to come up with the continuous improvement plan, okay? It's not about the, it is a meeting, yeah, really focus on the process, not about the product at all, okay? Yeah. So format is not important, it's about suggestion, okay? You learn that, okay, this is a problem, this is what we learn. But what is a suggestion? That's a key point that you need to come up with, okay? So first of all, you should do some step one, okay? Individual reflection, okay? Before the meeting, spend 15 minutes, note down what worked for you this sprint, what didn't work for you in this sprint, concrete suggestion for improvement, okay? Complaint doesn't help. Complaint doesn't help anything. That student know that my friend didn't do that, my friend didn't do this, blah, blah, blah. Complaint doesn't help. My question to you and to everyone, how can we make it better, okay? That's the question. We need a constructive suggestion. Think about, yeah, if this is a problem, then how can we resolve it, okay? Move forward, think forward, rather than just stick with the problem, the issues. We know the issues. Everyone knows, but how can we resolve the issues? That's the key point that we need to discuss, okay? Second, the second step, okay, share the information. So you should have a meeting with the team, Scrum Master and Product Owner, blah, blah, blah. You know, you should look for the proposed improvement, okay, blah, blah, blah. Like first, yeah, okay, you share the information in advance, okay. Last time, this is the list of the improvement. Did we do that? Did we follow that? If we discuss and if we didn't follow the improvement plans, then why do we have that meeting, okay? Then, yeah, you should brainstorm for the improvement, okay? Work collaboratively. Agile is about collaboration. Work as a team. It's not about silos at all, all right? Gradually, okay, try to identify the concrete improvement that can be made. That's what I told you, okay? Try to reach an agreement on a limited numbers of the improvement. If you make too many changes, people will get confused, okay? It will be hard to work out whether these changes work out or not, okay? No one knows. Not every problem needs an explicit plan of the action, okay? And sometimes we got the velocity wrong as well. This is one of the common issue that you might end up talking about is grossly overestimating or underestimating your sprint velocity. Oh yeah, we have one feature to develop, but that feature takes like a week, okay? And then over the week, you cannot even complete that feature. So that's the underestimate velocity, right? It means that within a week, you cannot even progress to anything, okay? So that's not the right estimation. That's a wrong estimation. That's a long task breakdown, okay? You didn't break down the task into something that is small enough to implement and complete in a day, okay? Right, okay, that's all right? Brainstorming solutions in the retro, yeah, that's what I mentioned to you. During the retrospective meeting, you should think about what should be the solution. How can we make things better, all right? Okay, all right, let's go to the poll everywhere. Where are we? What is that? Where are we now? Moscow. Okay, 18. We have 22 questions. Okay, we are nearly there. Here we go. Which of the following is not a category in the Moscow method? All right, here we go. Okay, 7, yeah. 8, okay, let's see the result. Must have, should have, could have. Okay, the right answer is would have. Okay, it doesn't exist. Okay, the question is which one is not a category of the Moscow method. Okay, must have yes, should have yes, could have yes, would have no. Okay, it has to be won't have. Okay, all right. Here we go. Which category in the Moscow method represents requirements that are crucial for the project success? Oh yeah, which one? Okay, very crucial for the project success. Everyone. Tick, 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 tick. What is that? Okay, very crucial, right? Okay, so let's log the results and see the response. It should be must have. Okay, yes, 100%. Beautiful, thank you. Yep. Next one, which category in the Moscow method represents requirement that won't be implemented in the current project iteration but could be considered for the future? All right, what is that? Go for it. Yep. Okay, what is that? 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. This is easy. We need more response. Okay, anyway, we need to move on. Yep. The result is could have, right? Because it could be considered for the future. All right, yeah. Okay. We don't need it now. We don't need it in the current iteration. But we could consider for the future iteration. Okay? Yeah. That's a could have. What is a software contract? All right. What is that? Back to this one. Software contract. Here we go. Okay. So basically, software contract is more like requirement documentation. You know, it is something that internally and externally organization stakeholders agree upon. Okay, because software can be developed. Software can be developed internally. Let's say I'm a software company. I develop the software for another party, for the marketing team, that kind of thing. That's the software developed internally. Or you can outsource to the external organizations, or a kind of like outsource, you know, where normally do you need a contract, right? And there are two types of the contract. One could be the closed scope. Okay, this is a narrow down the set of the features, the set of the functionalities that you need to implement. Or it could be an open scope. Okay, I don't know what is an open scope. Okay, I know, but what my point is that we don't know what are the features that we need to implement for the open scope. Closed scope means we define what are the things we need to do. Open scope could be like pay by hours, that kind of thing, pay by day. Okay, that's an open scope. So closed scope contract, right? It is the scope defined by the customer, price with the fixed price and the deadline, defined by the supplier, that kind of thing. But the open scope contract is defined in each iteration, and it is a payment per man hour, that kind of thing. The contract renew after each iteration. Okay, so normally it requires a maturity and a customer involvement. The advantages is that it can foster quality. You can avoid, delivering to just avoid penalty, that kind of thing. Client can easily change the supplier as well. Yeah, so there are three things here: client, customer, and the end users, right? So So many interested stakeholders are like outside your organization. Okay, normally like there will be the people who pay for the product. Let me put this way. I am a software engineer, okay? We need to develop the software for a given requirement. And the given requirement could be from your organization, from the customer who pay for the product, or from the CEO who make the decision or whatsoever, that kind of thing. So, and ideally, we want to satisfy all of these people. But sometimes we can, right? I mean, that's a constraint. We cannot satisfy everyone. So, sometimes, you know, software engineering books roll all of these stakeholders together and refer them as a client, okay? Because client could be stakeholder, customer, end users, whatsoever, right? But sometimes it's too complicated. We just combine them. These are the clients of the software products, okay? And in real world, okay? When you outsource the project to the external organization whatsoever, this is called contract development, okay? That means your organization is producing a product for an external client, all right? Your organization, you are like a software company. You produce a product for an external client, let's say Coles or Woolworth, okay? The client may be an individual or organization. You could be like just a software company or a contractor, okay? The client is responsible for defining software requirements. Yep, I'm sorry. The client could be not yourself, sorry. The client should be the customer, the end users, right? And could be individual, okay, or an organization like Coles, Woolworth. We are software companies, okay? They are responsible to define the software requirement, not us, okay? We develop the software for them based on their requirement, okay? Not for us, okay? Same as building a house. We want to build a house based on how many bedrooms or bathrooms that they require, not build the house for us, okay? No. Product owner in this case is either somebody from the client organization or somebody from your organization who has a strong working relationship with them, okay? That's a product owner. End users, management, or other stakeholder in the client organizations talk to the product owner. Product owners talk to the team, represents those stakeholder interests, okay? Yep. As I told you, this is a product owner, okay? This is a software engineer. This is a product owner. Only this guy talk to the, no, I write in the wrong way, sorry. So this is a product owner. This is your team, software engineers, okay? And only the product owner is a customer-facing person who talk to the stakeholder, the clients, okay? Only the product owner, and only one, not more, okay? Yeah, that's it, all right? And once you develop the contract, okay, come up with these are the sets of the requirement that you need to develop, that kind of thing, okay? Then you talk to the product development team, right? Where in a sense that, you know, this is a product owner. Now you talk with the team to build the product, the software, that kind of thing. And then you have the current user, you have the potential users, okay, to demonstrate as well, okay? That's part of the product development before we roll out to in production. And this is another model where it is an in-house development, okay? That means this is like a internal software team, okay? Software development team inside your company. So this is the boundary of the organization, the company. This is end users, okay? Could be like marketing team. And you have a product owner talk to the marketing team. Okay, we need a discount campaign, that kind of thing. And then you ask the software development team, okay, to develop that discount campaign. Yeah, you know, okay, we're gonna get 20% discount on something. Yep, that's the point about the in-house development. Okay, all that. All right, now back to the quiz. Okay, yep, present. Where are we? Which are the most? Yep. Okay, what is the software contract? Yep, what is a software contract? Do you have any questions so far? What is a software contract? Yep. Okay, so software contract. Okay, let's see what is the right response. Okay, it is a legal agreement governing the use, development, licensing of software. Okay, no. A written document outlining the technical specifications of the software. Yes. Okay. A marketing brochure. No. Open source license agreement. No. Okay. So the right answer is B. Okay. So 56. Okay. Software contract is about requirement. That's the specification. All right. It's not about whether how some companies can use or develop or licensing the software. No, it's not about the use. It's about the technical specification. Okay. Yep. And that's it. Okay, everyone. So last question. What do you think about the lecture today? Okay. May I have your response and some support a little bit as well. And yeah, we are on week 9 already. If you have any questions, feel free to ask me next week. On Monday, just a reminder that what is that? We're gonna release the assessment 4 for this week. We're gonna do the sprint 2 review for the assessment 3. Okay, let me repeat again. This week, sprint 2 review. Okay, meeting next week, assessment 4. And then the week after, the week 11 or something, yeah, will be sprint 3 or 4, that kind of thing, okay? And then week 12 presentation, all right? Okay, all right. I think that's all for the today presentation, okay? And I really appreciate. And thank you so much, everyone. It looks like the sentiment from everyone is quite positive here. I hope everyone had a great day. Enjoy the rest of the week and see you again next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.